Ready, Marianne? Yeah. Okay, let's start. The City of Plymouth City Council special meeting for Tuesday, October 24th, 2023 is now called to order. In-person participation by the public is permitted. Alternatively, remote or electronic public participation is available by following the link to the city's Zoom meeting posted on the agenda. Members of the public participating electronically via this link and wishing to speak may do so during public comment by using the raised hand feature in the Zoom webinar. When dialing into Zoom at the phone number listed above on your phone, use *9 to raise and lower your hand. Use *6 to mute and unmute your phone. Participation is also available via written public comment by submitting a written public comment prior to the meeting by emailing your comment to the Deputy City Clerk at vmchenry@cityofplymouth.org before 3:30 p.m. on the day of the meeting. Emailed public comments will be distributed to the City Council and made part of the official record. This meeting is being recorded. At this time, we ask everybody to silence their cell phones or similar devices. And could we please have a roll call?
Councilmember White.
Here.
Councilmember McLaughlin.
Here.
Vice Mayor Sim.
Here.
Mayor Ackerman.
Here.
Thank you. We have a quorum.
Thank you. Could everybody please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item number 2, approval of the City Council special meeting agenda for tonight, October 24th, 2023.
I make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. Can we have a roll call vote, please?
Councilmember White.
Aye.
Councilmember McLaughlin.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Sim.
Aye.
Mayor Ackerman.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes.
Thank you. Item number 3, special meeting public comment. Under provisions of the California Code, the City Council, citizens wishing to address the council at a special meeting for any matter on the agenda may do so by completing a speaker submittal form to the Deputy City Clerk or following the instructions noted on this agenda. Speakers will be called by the mayor at the point on the agenda when the item will be heard. Speakers are encouraged to keep comments to 3 minutes or less and state their name and community of residence. Under provisions of the California Government Code, the City Council is prohibited from materially discussing or taking action on any item not on the agenda unless it can be demonstrated to be of an emergency nature or an urgent need to take immediate action arose after the posting of the agenda. Item 4.1, interviews of the candidates to fill the vacancy on the City Council. And I think what I'd like to do, we'll start with the staff report. And then I'd like to suggest that after the staff report, we conduct the interviews. And then after the interviews, we open this for public comment. That way, anybody wishing to make public comment has heard from the people who are interviewing.
So tonight is for interviewing the candidates for City Council. As you know, the posting was for 10 days and it closed yesterday at 4:30 when City Hall closed. We received 3 letters of interest, one from John Colburn, one from Frederick Doyle, and one from Peter Amaruso. So those 3 interviews will be conducted tonight. And my recommendation is that prior to the interviews, the council decide how they're going to conduct those interviews and then go into the first interview I put them on the staff report in the order that they turned in their letters of interest, and that's how we asked them. That's how we gave them the times for their interviews. And their letters of interest are included in the packet, and that is my staff report.
Thank you. Are there particular times for each person? I just want to make sure I kind of try to stay on track here.
We gave each one 10 minutes with 5 minutes in between.
Is there a particular starting time for, or just as soon as we get to it?
We had John Colburn at 6:40
Okay,
and Peter at 6:55. I'm sorry, Trevor at 6:55 and then Peter at 7:10.
7:10. Okay, thank you. Okay, I think we're almost on time.
Is Mr. West present? Is he on Zoom? Mr. West.
He may have been told that his time was 6:55.
That's correct.
So it could be. So I think that council, we need to have a discussion about the process of how we want to do this. I would like to respectfully ask those that we're interviewing if, when we're interviewing one person, if the two others would be willing to wait outside of the council. That way, I think it helps because we have some questions prepared. That way, I think it helps just keep everything fair and clean. However, this is a public meeting, an open and public meeting. So we can't, that's not something we can enforce. It's just something I'm asking. Council members, any other thoughts, suggestions on the process that we want to follow for this? Okay. So we have a series of questions. They're all the same questions for each candidate. And there's 10 questions. And we've given each candidate about 10 minutes. To me, that might be a lot of questions and a lot of answers to expect somebody to answer in 10 minutes. So do we want to do this in such a way that, I don't know, any suggestions on how to do this?
I suggest that all three candidates get asked the same questions. The only thing is maybe to take one or two what we find that is the most important questions on the list and we prioritize them. And, but I also think that I don't know, we might be able to get through 6 questions.
Yeah.
5 questions.
Okay.
Is it possible to ask a question that's not on this list?
I would just suggest that if you do that, you ask all three candidates.
Definitely, yeah. And each one of us is going to ask a number of questions. I mean, not all 10. Each one take
Like your 2 favorites.
well, or do it in order. If we're going to ask all these questions, you get. I'll take, for example, I take 1 and 2. You take 3 and 4, 5 and 6, and go down the line in that order for each one of them. So we do.
Okay,
Does that make sense? Rather than one person ask all
that
of them.
makes perfect sense. I can just jump in on it.
But if we jump all around the page, we're gonna get all confused.
I would like to take 3 and 4 because I think those 2 go hand in hand.
I'll take 1 and 2.
Mike, do you have some favorites? Councilmember McLaughlin?
I'll do 17.
If I'll get there, but one for them.
Okay.
At least 4.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry, who's taking? And I'd like to take 5, 6, and 10.
Okay.
Would somebody be willing to take 9? Don't have them all covered.
I'll do that.
Thank you. Okay. So we are right on time for our first candidate, John Colburn. If you'd like to come up and thank you, Peter. Much appreciated.
Thanks, Peter.
Where am I going there?
Right there.
And John, we placed a bottle of water for you at the state. We don't need to-
Take one sip from each bottle.
Hello. John.
Start.
Okay, John, I'm gonna start you off with, what do you believe is the role of a city council in our community?
Well, it's to govern local governments for the better and best interest of the people in the community. And the health and welfare of the people, and make sure that safety and utilities that are provided by the city are done in a fair and honest manner. Support the general public.
Number 2, city council requires a significant time commitment, usually 2 meetings per month, participation on committees, and attends at occasional events, as well as reading prep prior to meetings. How will this fit into your other commitments?
Well, this is exactly right. I've been retired since 2005, working with my grandson still, but I'm working 7 or 8 hours, 10 hours a week. And I'm working with the Veterans Park. It takes some time, and of course I was working. You probably all aware that I was working with the blue zone for a while, but that is basically dormant right now. So yeah, I have lots of time, and I have the reason to do this. I need, purpose. One of the things in blue zone, you need to have purpose, and that's part of what I love about the city of Plymouth. I get to participate in projects.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember White?
Okay. As you might be aware, the Island Band of Miwok Indians have been talking about building a casino for some time. Tell us your opinions on that.
Well, you probably obviously aware of my opinion because I was part of the initial no casino in Plymouth group. What is happening now is that the land was taken into trust. We believe it was not taken into trust legally. It was not done by the Secretary of Interior. There was no acting Secretary of Interior that was done. And it was, they found a way to try to get around that. It is in the Ninth Circuit Court, and we expect any day in the next 60 days to get some kind of a ruling on the Ninth Circuit. And the reason that my feeling the way I do about the casino is we have one. We follow along with what's happening. And when it first came to across the city of Plymouth, I said, well, how is it going to affect me? And then I realized, I said, well, it's good. I got grandchildren, still have a child, grandchildren here. It's going to affect them. And I studied it extensively, what's going on with the casino statewide. And they have created crime problems, they've created gambling problems, they've created a lot of problems. They also do, they participate, they employ a lot of people. There's some benefits to it in that way. But what bothers me more than anything about them is that we visited the governor's office, try to get them to commit to require the tribes to pay their fair share of every safety. That's fire and police. They have refused to do that. And in the case that we currently have, the Jackson Ranch area, they're paying somewhere under $2 million. The sheriff, the ex-sheriff, told me I was complaining about the 25% of crime being committed and people flew from the casino. He says, John, it's not 25%, he says it's 31%. He says, we keep track of that. And so 31% of their $19 million public safety budget for the county is about $6.5 million. The Jackson Rancher units pay less than $2 million. So the ratepayers of Plymouth, the county taxpayers, are subsidizing that casino. They are donating a lot of money to a lot of projects, but they should still be paying out their share. And fire. Thank you.
Okay. So after that, then what is your vision for the future of the city?
Well, I think I believe that, we're gonna have some growth. We need growth to support the employment, the wine industry, or the gateway to the Shenandoah Valley. We need to support some of the home with that, but we also need to do it physical manner that doesn't affect the rest of the community here. You might know that I said in the past that I was worried about our seniors that are fixed incomes. And there was a situation where Pat Courthouse challenged me on that. She says, you've been trying to protect these words for a long time, and they've all died right now. And I said, no, I don't think so. So I went back and took the census, and every lady that was over 62 years old, the only voter incident, it was 18% of our population. It's probably still around 15%. A lot of those people are on fixed income, but many of them under $1,000. So we get to a point where, with our utilities, we can be taken for granted. And we don't want to force these people out of their homes, and because they can't afford it.
So just to do a time check here to try to stay on time. We've got a number of questions to go, and not a whole lot of time. Don't mean to cut you off. How would you ensure that the needs of all citizens are represented on the city council?
Well, to try to get encourage people to get involved and to run for office. The representation of the people is determined by the people, most that they people against. But we need to keep them informed so we can make the right decision. We need to be upfront with everything and very, very visible for what we're doing.
Number 6, do you have any personal, business, or professional relationships that could become a conflict of interest while serving as a council member?
No.
Okay. Councilmember McLaughlin.
Hi, John. Are you familiar with the various laws and regulations that apply to municipal governments?
Well, very a lot of them, yes. But of course, not all of them.
That's a nice short question. What is your approach to handling controversial and complicated issues?
Well, I believe they all need to be upfront, and we need to hear them all. We need to hear both sides. Just because we disagree with one side or the other, it doesn't mean that we're right and they're wrong. We need to hear all this. And one of the things that concerns me a lot is the split we have right now nationally, where we have two distinct opposing sides that are too busy screaming at each other to listen to each other. And it's scary to me that we can't sit down and listen to what both sides have.
And what skills, knowledge, and/or experience do you have that would be beneficial, that you believe would be beneficial to you as a council member?
Well, writing the letter that I wrote, I talked about mostly about my political background, didn't talk about my engineering background or my construction background. My background is in engineering, surveying. I did that for 55 years, still doing it. And so I know a lot as far as road construction and off the underground and piping and sewer water. Very, very familiar with all the that language and the surveying and stuff. And I have worked on the Actors Department images and
Okay, one last question. Based on what you know about Plymouth and city government, what do you see as top priorities for the city and why?
I think top priority right now is to the water and sewer. We need to find out from the water agency. I believe their moratorium in the building is somewhat of a conflict with the agreement that we have with them when we contracted with drilling and building a pipe to the water agency. We contracted for a certain number of ADUs, and because they marketed other ADUs, now they don't have the capacity to serve what they can guarantee that we're going to have. I think that's an issue that we need to further look at and be involved with the water agency. And as you know, I was very involved in the water agency and the fact that the water at the end of the trail was one I had to negotiate with that purchase for that. Because they go to the water agency rather than keep it. So that's just one of the issues, and I'm concerned about the sewer plant also. And of course, you know, my involvement was the right edge and trying to get that water marketed. I believe we can market it. I did a lot of research on that, and some of the initial discussions we had with Gulf, something like that. And I hope to get it along with that, and that's the biggest thing we'll have to do. I think that's good.
Thank you. Anything else?
Question.
You gotta make it
Your point.
super quick and you've got to ask everybody.
I'll ask one.
All right. Next, guys.
Sun Industries 49 RV Park has been moving forward on adding full-time rentals as opposed to short-term rentals, which has implications for the city's TOT revenue. What is your position on this issue?
I believe that we need to do a fiscal analysis of the whole project, like we did on Citadel project. I believe what they're attempting to do there is get away from the impact fees and release fees that comes for single family resident. The formal part about that is the only fees that they're actually getting on an annual basis is motor vehicle fees along with the state. And so we don't get any property tax from them, and we're with the exclusion of the TOT tax from them, they're going to become a liability in the long run. And that's the way that some company is modeled their businesses, and it appears that they're trying to.
Thank you, John.
Thank you. That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, it looks like our next candidate is here. We just need to wait a minute.
Each one of us just pick one question, right? Go through, but I like the fact we got through all.
When you said two and you grouped them together.
Yeah, we're 5 minutes over, so. Gotta go through all those 5 minutes.
You thought, that's not much. You're here too. We can walk. One of those bottles of water, so you.
The last interviewer did out of both.
Pretty good big start.
No, the last interviewer drank out of both of
I
them.
forget which one. I don't even care.
Trevor, thanks for coming in, and we're running a little bit late, so a little bit behind, so sorry about that. But let us go ahead and introduce ourselves. You and I spoke on the phone the other day. I want to make sure that being real clear and transparent. I had the opportunity, we had a nice conversation for probably about 15 minutes, so thank you for giving me the time. So I'm Mary Ann Gerland,
Hello.
and
Hi, I'm Doug Sim. Nice to meet you. And we haven't talked, by the way.
I am Keith White.
Hi, I'm Michael Godwin. Thank you for your interest.
and you must be Trevor Doyle.
Yes.
I gotta turn this to talk, right?
Yes, you do.
Okay. Hi, I'm Trevor Doyle.
So again, thank you for coming in. We've got about 10 questions and we ask everybody the same questions. We have 10 questions and not a lot of time. We have allotted about 10 minutes for each candidate. So, we just ask you to keep your responses concise.
Okay, yeah.
And
Make sure I keep this on. Sorry. For
Yeah.
this guy.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll
Yeah.
just keep it on. Okay.
yeah. We've all had a chance to look at the letter of intent and the information provided. So thank you. So go ahead, Councilmember Vice Mayor Sim.
Trevor, what do you believe is the role of the city council in our community?
Well, I think it's for the people, it's for support, it's for, to make the community better. I mean, there really should be no other purpose for a council member. I mean, that's a concise answer like I can think of, yeah.
City council requires a significant amount of time, usually 2 meetings a month, participation on committees and attendance at occasional events, as well as reading preparation prior to meetings. How will this fit into your other commitments?
Well, I got a pretty light schedule this year. I work from home, so I work here. I have a pretty good, a lot of disposable time right now. So I think I've got plenty of time. I mean, there is a difficulty. I'd have to move things around on Thursday nights because I do have something on Thursday nights, but so that's a little bit of a challenge, but I'm here, obviously I'm interested. So yeah, I'm looking into doing that and reading, and yeah, of course, that's no problem. I'm a teacher and preparing and stuff like that. Teachers do a lot of preparation outside the classroom.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember White.
You might be aware the IMB and Milwaukee Indians have been talking about building a casino for some time. Tell us your opinions on that.
I think that I think Main Street has lots of empty buildings, and I think we need to bring business into town. We need to encourage anybody to come in to bring jobs and business in our community. So I'd say that I'm in support of that if it's going to come and build like infrastructure and business in our community.
Okay, then what is your vision for the future of the city?
I think we need to have more direction for young people in this city and people who are, the city's been around for a long time, but I think we need to present opportunities for young people. Like they were talking about, like the league on the on Facebook. I think we need to be creative about things that can keep young people safe and give them opportunities for recreation and safety in our community. Am I looking over here now, Michael, with a nice Irish name?
Actually, it flips to me,
Okay, no, give a nice name too.
but I do have relatives that,
In Ireland.
I have relatives that came from Ireland, so.
Me too.
How would you ensure that the needs of all citizens are represented on the city council?
Well, do I know the full answer to that? I would just say I'd be committed to knowing. I don't know if I know all the answer to that, but I'd be committed to listening to the community and seeing what people want and what, like, how people perceive that that's something that I can do like for them. So I mean, I don't know. But I'd have to find out what people want, what's important to people. And ensure that that's always my direction and focus.
Thank you. Do you have any personal, business, or professional relationships that could become a conflict of interest while serving as a council member?
I think so.
Okay, now it goes to Councilmember McLaughlin.
I think this is college thing, but
Yeah, close. Yeah. Mr. Bell, thank you for being here. I appreciate your interest in this vacancy. Are you familiar with the various laws and regulations that apply to municipal governments?
I mean, I'm familiar with like a few of them, and I know they're easily referenced on the internet, so I know I have access to be familiar with all of them. I wouldn't come as I'm an expert in any way, but I think I have the ability and access to be familiar with any laws that are like relevant to what I'm doing.
Very good. Well, what is your approach to handling controversial and complicated issues?
Well, I've been a leader in summer camps, and I've been a leader. I've owned businesses, and I've actually worked on not like city council before, but I was in a condo complex like council, but actually it had a bigger population than Plymouth, and so there was some controversial things, and it's just about, it doesn't matter, you know, you being upset about like my decision isn't important. What's important is what's right and what needs to be done and what needs to benefit the most people. So I'm perfectly fine with being not confrontational, with telling people no, and this is what I believe, this is what's important, this is the direction I believe we need to go. So I'm totally okay. I'm like being a director of camps and being a leader in business, you need to be able to tell like people sometimes kindly that I don't agree with you, and that should be okay.
What skills, knowledge, and/or experience do you have that you believe would be beneficial to you as a council member?
Okay, well, I mean, I have a master's degree in computers, so I do design websites and do like apps and stuff like that. I have a bachelor's degree in math and science, so I think I'm knowledgeable about a lot of like things. I think I'm a go-getter kind of person. I'm not someone that talks about things. I get things done. And so I think I started businesses, I've lived in communities, I have kids in the community, I'm a teacher in the community. I think this is all like very important to understanding what's important to people in the community.
Thank you.
And final question for me, based on what you know about Plymouth and city government, what do you see as top priorities for the city and why?
I think safety and bringing business in would be the top priorities for them. Like safety for families and good children, but I'll say like economic growth would be the next important thing. Like keeping, so young people will have jobs here and they could maybe stay. I'd like my kids to stay.
Okay. Thank you. That's it for questions.
No, that's don't forget Doug. Come on.
Yeah, Doug had his turn.
No, you have to ask that last question.
No.
Yeah.
City attorney's ruling that out.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I got legal.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh gosh.
Okay.
you don't need to know the municipal code.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you and congratulations for doing this in about 10 minutes. It's kind of like speed dating.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Trevor.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate
Thank you very
coming in.
much. Nice meeting you.
I'm like, no, wait.
Someone reeled it in, huh?
We are 6 minutes ahead of schedule.
That was like speed dating.
Yeah.
You can do that one.
Well, you can have a conversation about what you think so far.
So our city manager tried to push me down this weekend.
I did.
You deserve it.
Do we,
Yes, we did.
Okay,
Yeah.
do we want to be to turn the microphone back on for this? Do we want to have any conversation between candidates or have a conversation at the end? Or we also have the option of thinking about it and having our conversation or discussion on Thursday. Anyway, don't need to answer right now, but
Okay, I see you were coming in.
Yeah.
You want me here or here?
anywhere you want.
thank you for coming in. I don't, and yeah, the water's pretty.
The previous two candidates drank out of it also.
Sweet.
So. Make sure you turn the mic on, so.
Start.
I think we introduced ourselves to the last candidate because he didn't know us, but I don't think any introductions are necessary. But just for folks listening in that might not have video, we have Mr. Peter Amoroso here as our third candidate. So we have 10 questions prepared. We generously allowed 10 minutes to answer 10 questions, but there's nobody after you, so no pressure there. So we're just going to take turns.
So I get the brunt.
They're all the same questions for
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah.
So we will start with Vice Mayor Sim.
Peter, what do you believe is the role of city council in our community?
To set policy, I think is our number one. Main objective. I think that's our job, is to set policy. And I think that really is at the end of the day what it's about. And then being involved with the community and helping shape the future plan. That's we want to see Plymouth thrive and good things. Great place for us all to live.
City council requires a significant amount of time, usually 2 meetings per month, participation on committees and attendance at occasional events, as well as reading preparation prior to meetings. How will this fit into your other commitments?
Very easily, since I was on council for 12 years and did it. I don't think much has changed in my life, but actually I think it's probably gotten simpler in the grand scheme at this point. So with that being said, that's even more time to devote if needed be to get the job done. And I've always been a fan of making sure you read your materials and be on point and ready and come to the city manager and ask her questions prior to the meeting so that you kind of have your mind square on what the agenda is presented that week for everything that needs to be dealt with, and be open-minded when you sit on the dais to listen to everyone and whoever it may be, whether it's the citizens or the council members. That's just part of the job. So yes, I have plenty of time and have no problem with doing anything that is required of me.
Councilmember White.
As you might be aware, the Ion Band and Milwaukee Indians have been talking about building a casino for some time. Tell us your opinions on that.
My opinion is that at this moment in time, this has been kind of a hard thing for our community for the last 20+ years. And here we are today now with them, with their land being taken into trust, the state and the county signing compacts. And I think that this time I think the city needs to step up and look at, talking, meeting with the tribe to, foster a good relationship, because they're going to be part of our future, whether the community is supportive or not. I mean, and I want to say that we need to be supportive and work with them, because I think they'd be good neighbors. And we have an opportunity here to, again, have that symbiotic relationship with them.
What is your vision for the future of the city?
For Plymouth to be the best Plymouth it could ever be, and have some I think I've been accused of being pro-development.
And I mean, turn Plymouth into Lincoln or Rockland, and I think that's a really unfair statement because I think, I look at our town and I want to see our businesses on Main Street thrive. And I think it's going to take some hits, but not, again, we, don't need to be those places. We don't want to be those places. I moved here over 30 years ago because I wanted to feel the from those places, because I wanted to come be, live on my ranch for a number of years and then moved to town when my son became of age and, to be part of his, make it easier part of his schooling and, his career of, school and sports and whatever he decided to, do. So that's when I, got involved with our city because I wanted to be a part of shaping its future in a very positive way and not burying our head in the sand and saying not in our backyard, because I don't think that's a proper thing for us to do, because it's going to come whether we want it or not, but we can shape that and look at it, shape its future, by setting policy today for future councils. And if we can do that in a successful way, we can in 10, 15 years, we have the city we want to see, not a future council that doesn't know what we want or what the citizens want or wanted. And then we end up with those other things that, not necessarily worry about it. So I think again, comprehensive, good policy is going to help us, to the future.
Thank you. How would you ensure that the needs of all citizens are represented on the city council?
Listening to your constituency, no matter where they're from in the city. I mean, they're all valuable and everyone has their opinions and we can agree to disagree. A lot of times, there's a lot of information out there that the public isn't always privy to. So, like I've challenged them in the past to meet me here at Study Hall and sit down and go over the facts. And then they get to draw their opinion, from the facts, not, what social media is telling them and or other, other fractions. So, it's just be informed and really, try and help them be informed so that they understand the process and why and what we're doing. And is, we're not here to, change their lives or overrule them, because it's not about that. But again, keeping it open minded what they're doing, because sometimes they have great ideas and you may not have thought about those things. And so if you have that open mind, you always have the ability to then change your mind, right? And look at what those issues are.
Thank you. Do you have any personal, business, or professional relationships that could become a conflict of interest while serving as a council member?
I have none, have never had any, and I've always just been a citizen of this town. So I don't know.
Councilmember McLaughlin?
Thank you for being here and putting in a letter of interest. So appreciate it very much. Are you familiar with the various laws and regulations that apply to municipal governments?
Very well versed. I've gone to multiple big California cities and many breakout sessions, and that was part of, I think, the hardest thing for me coming from the private sector originally was, you come in and you just think, just get it done. There's, just get in there. And it's like, I think the first 2 years of my councilship was learning the process, and process is not always quick. So it can be frustrating on some levels. So you have to kind of learn, and over the years, I gained a lot of knowledge and experience, with how that works, and what it takes to run a successful municipality. And we've been fortunate to have some good city managers in the past, and we currently have a wonderful city manager that's doing a great job, which I'm so excited to hopefully get to work with. So I hope that answers your question.
Thank you. What is your approach to handling controversial and complicated issues?
In which manner? Can you be, or is it just a broad spectrum question?
It's a broad spectrum in that sense.
Okay, can you rewrite it one more time? Just so I can.
Yep, absolutely. What is your approach to handling controversial and complicated issues?
I think first and foremost, being respectful at all times, no matter what, whether you agree, disagree, whatever the controversy is. I personally don't engage publicly on social media because I don't think that's the place to do business. I do business done here on Thursday nights at a meeting. So that's just me personally. Yeah, not saying that that can't be done or couldn't be done. I try to just stay away from it, but yeah, you just gotta, again, I think be respectful and be professional at all times.
What skills, knowledge, and or experience do you have that you believe would be beneficial to you as a council member?
As I stated before, I was on council for 12 years prior to this, and have gained a lot of experience in many things by going through like Raiders DA and our sewer treatment plant upgrades and road repairs. We got the whole city resurfaced several years ago. Just just everything that I've gained along the way, which has been very valuable and invaluable, I feel, to help me be the best council person I can be. And at the end of the day, we're one of five, and that's really what it all boils down to. I mean, we're not single out there. I mean, we're not, and it's not just one person that's running the show here. It's we're one of five, and to respect everyone's opinion and and their views and where they come from professionally too. So I mean, I think if you have a good balanced council, it's a council that works together well and comes from different parts of life, and everyone has their strong points, and then you net it all together to, I think, be successful as a council.
Thank you.
And then finally, based on what you know about Plymouth and city government, what do you see as top priorities for the city and why?
Top priorities, I think, are Main Street's a big one. I mean, we've lost some businesses of late, and that's likely concerning on some level. And I want to see the city, I would like to see the city, I should say, somehow foster business and get better business relationships with potential businesses coming to town. I mean, obviously we can't tell people what to do with their properties, but at the end of the day, if we can help people, get into places and start businesses and create more community. I mean, and again, community. I started the 4th of July deal and the Christmas in the park deal because I'm a big believer in community involvement. And I sat on the Fair Foundation board for 10 years. And it's just about pulling our community together. And I've been so happy watching everything that's happened this last year with the city, with everything that was going on all summer long at that park, and especially in September and October, September or August and September, just almost every night of the week was something going on in the park. I mean, I thought that was amazing, and we're probably the only city in the whole county that has done that, where we had almost 5 days a week, something happening for our citizens. And I think that's pulling us together as communities. So I hope sorry, Lars. I don't know why.
Thank you. That's it for our questions. And
all right. Well, thank you very much, and thank you for listening in and allowing us to come up here and see our piece and be a part of the process.
well, we appreciate the three of you
Do appreciate it.
who have expressed an interest. So yeah, thank you. So I think probably we'll have a public comment.
Do we want to see if the other candidates, I mean, they'd be welcome to, I think, join at this point.
I don't know if they're out there, but you can chat.
Yeah.
For anybody on Zoom, we're gonna pause for a minute to see if the other candidates want to come back in the building.
Yeah. Did.
I don't want to talk football.
Said you left to the road.
Huh?
We're next.
I'm upset at my team.
We're a Raiders fan. They have the 20 years. I mean,
Hey,
you got used to them.
It's a management leadership.
As long as
I've watched it so many years, right?
Oh, it's just sickening. It's just, so, I mean, there's no respect in the locker room, there's no respect in the field, there's just, you know.
I don't care about the paying public.
Well, and Mark Davis, I think all he thinks is, I just switched the quarterbacks out, and there's no, it's been the problem for the last 20 years, the last 30 years.
He didn't learn much of his dad.
Well, you know what?
Before his dad got sick, he would fix that.
Yeah, well, his dad back in the 80s and 70s.
Offensive and defensive line was his bread and butter. Assist drops in there, I think I go down the line.
I don't know when, I don't just gave it a shit.
Presidents played fantastic, the throws he made. I mean, they were
Very good.
they were really good. Yeah, he played the best game of his career. And Purdy played okay. He played fine.
Yeah, he just didn't.
He didn't take this level away because.
You know, and I think when you're playing at that height, everyone's just have to have a fitness start.
You got a field goal figured out there.
Yeah.
It's a program, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, everybody, thank you for your patience. Get back to the agenda. And we will now open this to public comment. And we're going to start with those of you who are here at City Hall. If anybody has any public comment, you're welcome to come up to the podium now. Okay.
I just wanted to make sure I looked at Main Street when you leave. Yeah, the rest of the my farther up national. So it's just it's a few days ago.
Thank you.
Thank you.
John, would you mind hitting the microphone? Anybody else here at City Hall? Do we have some correspondence received that we need to acknowledge?
Yes.
Here? Okay, do you have it? I don't have a copy. For public comment. So we did receive a letter regarding the issue from the Ion Band of Miwok Indians, and we'll put that into the record. And then public comment, I'm going to go to Zoom. So I ask now if anybody on Zoom has public comment, if you would all raise your hands now so we can be sure that we'll call on each one of you.
See none. See none.
Okay, there's no public comment. I'm closing it to public comment now. Okay, comment is now closed. And is there any council discussion? Okay. No council discussion. Let me double check. Councilmember McLaughlin?
No, I think just commending the three individuals tonight for putting names in and interest, takes a bold step. But they're getting out into the public sector, done lots of interviews, never actually conferred on candidates in front of them and everybody. It's something that I shared. I was looking forward to becoming a fire chief where I could be in a position to actually offer a job to somebody. But what I didn't know at the time was under the rule of threes, I get to interview 3 people, but I only get to promote 1. So I have to give 1 piece of good news and 2 pieces of bad news. Somehow mathematically that didn't pan out. And unfortunately, we're going to be in that same situation here. So, now thank you, all 3 of you for putting your names in and stepping up.
Councilmember White?
I'll have to agree with member McLaughlin. I was in interviews all day today at my office, so this has been a day of interviews, so we're just, yeah. But, thank the 3 individuals who is, turning in a letter of interest. Thank you.
Vice Mayor Sim?
I agree with both of you. It's a big commitment to be on a city council for, in this case, 1 year, but it's a fair amount of work, and I think it's genuine, and it has produced good things to the city. And thank you all for coming out and listening to our questions. All 3 did a good job. Thank you.
And I agree with what the 3 of them said. And I also want to thank the 3 of you who put in a letter of interest. And yeah, it is a big commitment. And now that I've been here for almost 3 years, it's a commitment, but I think it's fun. Anyway, I look forward to
Interviews with more people by the office.
no, I didn't say interviews for fun. But I look forward to taking a couple days to ponder this, and then we'll come back and review this again on Thursday evening. And okay, so with that, I'm going to adjourn the meeting at 7:30, so the meeting's now adjourned.